You're listening to the only show that's broadcast from a swamp in the middle of the internet. Starring the elvish vixen PeninaChan, the dragon furry known as Draconath, Nemo the friendly fish from Australia, and straight from every country's annoying little brother, the pretend nation of Canada, the internet demon himself, the Canadian Rogue. This is Gator and Frog.
Roughly about 720p. For whatever reason, Twitch, YouTube, or whoever, they have issues with it playing.
Okay. So now we don't need to introduce ourselves. Now you know who we are. We are those people.
That's right. Those people are us. We don't have to do all those introductions anymore. So we just kind of have fun and banter and do our thing.
Hello, everybody.
Okay.
Hello.
I realized
So-
I never turned on my microphone again, and you guys
Oh,
are just talking.
jeez.
For those
Yeah, I
who-
know. We were waiting for you to do something. So I've just got to make sure that everything else is running on my end for the Twitch stream.
Well, for those who are
because, you
joining
know,
us on YouTube on my channel, welcome. I am PeninaChan. To my left is the fish,
Yep.
and to my
There's a
right
fish?
is the Canadian Rogue.
Yes, and we're missing a dragon since the dragon is doing whatever dragons do.
We're missing the dragon
Yeah.
furry of the night.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
So I think we agreed before we start off we would give a little shout out. Did we not agree?
Yes,
Okay.
we did. So by all means, shout out while I kind of play around with the Twitch one so I can see where I've screwed up.
Okay. So we are
Okay,
going
I found it.
to give a quick shout out to the Kilroy event. Dave Cullen and Base Mama announced earlier this week that they have launched their fundraiser campaign, their crowdfunding to make the Kilroy event in Phoenix, Arizona a not just a probability, but a
May I just do one little thing? Why Kilroy?
well, why
It's
not
just a
Kilroy?
weird name.
But it's the
Because-
meme. Don't let your dreams be
I'm-
memes.
Oh, okay, I got it. No, because I was thinking, Mr. Roboto.
No, don't let.
Yeah.
Okay, and then don't let
Domino
your memes.
Kilroy.
be dreams. Kilroy.
Yeah.
So as you guys can
Yes.
see on your screen, they have raised nearly 40% of their total goal, and that covers not only the convention deposit, the entire convention center, and then the security admin and incidentals. So basically, because it's a more conservative friendly area, they're not all that worried, but they still do want to hire private security to cover the event. If they try to do this in California, it would be it would be exponentially more expensive. If Berkeley had to pay over $500,000 just to host Ben Shapiro.
Actually, the only reason when they did that was because of the factor of the Antifa. So really, it was cheaper when he first did it.
No, it was, but then you have the people who are willing to get violent to shut down an event. So this was a good choice.
That's what happened.
So if you guys want to go and help out make this meme of a dream of a meme become reality, go and toss them a couple of bucks. It does not have to necessarily be through their fundraiser event. They do accept PayPal donations if you can't give like the minimum of the $10 reward amount. Any little bit helps. I'm looking forward to it. I don't think I'll be able to make it out there, but I will be pledging as well when I get paid next week.
You get paid?
Yeah, I have a regular job.
No, you don't have a regular job.
Wow.
You do this all day.
I
I thought
wish
you were a cave troll.
I wish I was a cave troll.
Okay.
Don't we all wish we were able to do that?
I mean, this
Okay.
thing is so hot right now. If you guys can see, the 250 reward tier has already been sold out. The first 100 pledges have already gone.
I'm starting to think that it could be all a hoax. It could be Saga who's bought them all up.
um, it is possible, and then Sarget passes out to his favorite 100 friends.
Yep.
Okay.
Or better
So,
yet, maybe it's Whitey that's doing it.
are we
Whitey's
gonna
poor,
go
but
back?
Yeah, it could
Are we
be
gonna go
one.
back to the nigga guy?
oh well, we were gonna get there. So that's so let's start this show with the first thing of the day. We'll go to the Kansas City Star. What a beautiful thing.
Mm.
So it pretty much has what car near K State painted with "Go home, nigger boy," and students are fed up. So
Oh,
I
Although,
how
know,
could
isn't it?
anyone do such a horrible thing? It's not
I
the-
know, I know. It's just, how could they do such a thing in the University of Kansas State?
well, okay, there was a correction issue to this particular story. The story has been
Oh, I
updated.
know. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. Don't worry, because we,
Panina,
we
let
have
me
to let
finish my
we
sarcasm first.
Okay, fine.
let's go. Let's look at it. So why would anybody do such a thing right on the back of a really shitty car? Go home, nigger boy, whites only, nigga, and something else. Niggas. Oh, and the page rating, but kind of dripping on the tab. Nigger die. I think it's what it is. Anywho. So the faculty and that got up in arms, and the obviously it was running through the Kansas State for news, and eventually it was found out that it was bullshit. It was all
Oh,
bullshit. All the
bro,
rabble rabble.
you don't
I
say.
know,
Oh,
I
come on.
know.
You mean people don't
Those
actually
e
talk like that in real life? You
I
mean
know
it hasn't been a
those e
thing since like the 40s?
I
Oh,
know. Those
Jesus
evil
twisted.
police found out through investigation and hard work that yes, the report of this graffiti turned out to be the person who graffitied their own car.
Of course they did. What's going to happen to them now? That's my question. Are they going to get charged with something?
Uh,
False police
you know
report.
what? That's basically it. But
Can we get
really,
a better crime from these cunts?
we would love to get it. We should
Like,
be a
I'm
lot
sorry, when
easier.
you waste, like, because that costs a lot of money to do that investigation, and you should be
So,
punished for that.
okay, so the two law enforcement agencies concluded that despite having filed a false report, criminal charges against Williams would not be in the best interest of the citizens of
Oh,
Manhattan.
of course not.
So,
Because we don't want
so
to not encourage
people
this.
people keep getting away with crimes because it wouldn't be in the best you know what it is, the best interest is they don't want to start Antifa riots. But
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
they
if you
totally
don't
don't want
punish
riots.
people for the crimes that they commit, then it kind of says, we'll tolerate you because we're afraid of you.
You know, Penny
Uh,
is having just a cat hands talk.
Yeah, but when it comes back down to it's they're afraid of the what is it?
The
The
the the
phrasing
the, the, the
of
black the white lash. Oh,
yeah, basically it's white lash. You're
yeah.
correct. This person here obviously was a black individual. They decided to do that because it was the most comfortable thing that they could do. It was their car, their passion of crime, their false report. So because this person was black and they don't want to give this person a charge because again they are black, that would put them in another political landscape that they can't afford to get into. So
I know,
yes.
yeah. Like we all know that's the thing. I'm just sick of this same old narrative happening and further pushing the agenda and like all this shit about how terrible white people are when all we fucking do is like all that's trying to done in society is keep people happy and all people do is bitch more. Black, white,
Well,
Asian, whatever. Like all they do is bitch more no matter what you give them. It
correct.
really pisses me off.
Yeah, no, that's just unfortunate. That's we're going to be facing. So as long as the liberal extreme left has control over the narrative, we're going to be the normal people, which in Trollland is called the normies. we're going to be kind of skittish on approaching these insane individuals.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter whether you're insane right or insane left. We're just kind of go, okay, you guys can do whatever you're doing. I'm just going to go over here. Or as Eric Cartman say, fuck you guys, I'm going home.
Yeah.
Screw you guys, I'm going home.
Yeah. That was awful. But that's right.
But, you know, it goes from there to, you know, harassment in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Like it or not, we're going from what to that. And now that we're going into the harassment in Hollywood, and it's gone to a certain degree where everybody's being outed, whether it be Takei, Weinstein, what is his, even the political spectrum of Kevin Spacey. You go on the political spectrum, you have Roy Moore, you have somebody on the Democratic side, you have Clinton that's being brought up again. Now, the 20th Century Fox and their tech exec has decided to create a list to out the sexual misconduct in Hollywood. Yes,
how much do you want to bet that this tech executive is one of those creeps?
Oh, guaranteed. But Clara Schmidt is leaving 20th Century Fox to try to do something about her problem, or the problem in Hollywood. So she's now going to be creating a new program called AllVoices. Now, AllVoices, what that's supposed to do is make a list of perpetual harassers, those who have, you know, gone above and beyond certain things. You know, there was a list that in our world was talking about it. Now, what was that list? It was somewhere around Gamergate 2. Pen, can you help me out?
List with Gamergate 2?
Oh, the blacklist. I know what you're talking about.
It's the blacklist. It was an ongoing.
Oh,
it was
made by Atheist Plus. Yeah, the block list made by Atheism
Yeah,
Plus.
there you go. See, it's exactly the same thing. That's what they're going to be doing.
Okay.
So
wait a minute.
I was tier 1 on that list. I'm proud of that.
So wait a minute. She's trying to be the next Candace Owens with the next Social Autopsy website to basically make a profile for people, and not only that, but judge, jury, and executioner.
Give them the Scarlet Letter, exactly.
Judge, jury, and executioner, and be the sole discretionary decision of people's fate in Hollywood, whether or not the allegations are true. So what happens? Yeah. What happens if somebody is falsely accused? It does happen.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
I know, but again, does it really matter? Because hang on, before you interject there, Nemo. It doesn't matter because in your United States, you have something that's similar to it in universities and colleges, where your amendments that you have is to safeguard against things like this from happening from male students or students that would be considered a harasser.
Okay, well, let me tell you a little something. Title IX and the whole Dear Colleague letter attempted to supersede litigation and supersede people's First Amendment and Fifth Amendment and Fourth Amendment rights. Here's the problem. If it's a public university, they can't do that because they are funded by the government. So that's why you have many, but they do, but that doesn't make it right. And that's why they're getting all of these lawsuits against them, and they're having to pay for it because they know they fucked up. They are. Betsy DeVos is attempting, the new education director, is attempting to roll back these harmful kangaroo practices because we know that they are wrong.
Yes.
And that it's ruining people's lives based on no evidence.
Correct. And that's where the biggest problem is, because now you have the feminists in this case. We're gonna do it. We're gonna call a spade a spade. It is the feminist in this case, and unfortunately, it's a huge core of them, especially the new ones, who decided that that the police are prejudiced and they're just going to protect the heinous bad guys and the rapists and the harassers and all that. They have their only source in life is to protect men, especially the evil heterosexual white men.
That's right.
Right? So the problem with that mindset and thinking is that now you've just fucked over the actual people who have legitimate claims with harassment and assault and all that. Now they're afraid to even go forward because now they're stuck with other crazies who say, "Hey, yeah, me too. I've been assaulted too. Me, look, I'm over here." So this hashtag Me Too is blowing up because of bullshit.
Yeah, and I'm from the most like, it's very much like, I forget what they called it in England, but there was another campaign very similar to Me Too in England where everyone was telling their everyday sexism project. That was it.
Yeah.
And it was very much like the Me Too thing where everyone's like, I was sat next to on a bus and the guy kept looking at me and that's sexual harassment. And it created like this huge panic of sexual harassment that doesn't actually exist. And I guess with this one, what I was trying to say that is, like last week I was trying to defend George Takei by going, whoa, 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 do we know all the evidence yet? What's going on?
Yeah, we now have all the evidence with George Takei.
Since then, yeah, we've confirmed it, we've verified.
He went around during his Star Trek days, funneling men via penis.
Yeah.
And no one screamed about it. Now, he's claiming that Russian bots are causing this to be an uproar. Like, this wasn't a problem back then. Well, you're right, George. It wasn't a problem back then because people just kind of sloughed it off. But now, currently, people are a little bit more sensitive than what they were before. Yeah. So your actions back in the day now, like Louis C.K. and Brett Ratner and Kevin Spacey and anybody else, they got a lot of explaining to do.
Yeah. Georgie, you got some explaining to do.
Pen, can we go over to the IGN thing?
Yes, we can go to the IGN thing.
Because it kind of follows the same conversation that we're having here.
Yeah.
Because if you look at it, even in gaming, you have...
We've been fighting this in gaming for ages.
Oh, I know, but in this case, now you have staffers, complaining that they're being harassed. Which is fine, great, if it's true.
If it's true.
Yeah.
But if it's true, great. Then you take them to, you go to the police, you fill out your report, and then you take them to, some degree of court, and you make sure that justice prevails as best you can.
You just brought up a really good point there with the last one, and that's all you need to do with all of this is just take them to court, take them to the cops, get them arrested, throw them in jail, let's get, have justice be served with a reasonable doubt. Not clear and convincing evidence.
Now,
because again, we have
for a little context. It's a IGN employee staffer who complained about someone who was a former IGN staffer. Who it seems that it was a female and male colleague who he understood that they were maybe having a little more than just a friendship, and she was like, no, I didn't feel that way, but according to him, she never expressed those feelings, and he never did anything, he never touched her, he never did anything wrong, but that then she went later to complain after they spoke about it privately, like, she said, I don't feel comfortable, and he's like, okay, and then, 3 weeks later, then complained to her HR. About the same thing
what HR did was... Yeah. Because what happened was afterwards, HR brought them in, did the whole thing, they split them into, you go here, you go there, blah, blah, blah. They did their own internal thing, because HR has issues. Because when HR gets involved, they it gets really messy, and they got to make sure that the company is so far away from lawsuit or liabilities. Because if she decided, Miss Plague,
Let's call him Miss Plague.
Plague.
I like that name.
So because Miss Plague it has gave them an issue, and she can turn around and say that they created an unsafe working environment, puts IGN at risk of a massive lawsuit,
Yes.
legally speaking. So they have to go through their steps in that, and then they have to make sure that they've done everything in their power to ensure that she doesn't go through the same form of harassment, or that her feelings are fine, that she feels safe and comfortable, and that they provided a nice work area for her so that she doesn't have to see this person again or whatever, as well as, if need be, finalize it. They might have to fire said a harasser, not the harassee, but the harasser.
Alleged
So
harasser.
alleged, yeah. That's what I said, alleged.
Regardless whether he did anything wrong, you've got to assume that they've got to assume that he did, because if they don't, they get their butts sued, and they also get a huge media blitz. And they go, "Why didn't you fix this in the first place?" Just in case he is guilty, you know.
Correct.
It's very, very sad.
I know, but it goes even further, because then it became a whole Twitter war. Well, not really a Twitter war. It became a whole thing on Twitter.
A Twitter day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where you get both sides of the story, and honestly, I kind of believe the guy a little bit in this case. I hate to say it. I mean, if he wasn't pursuing and she felt uncomfortable anyways.
Yeah, that's her problem.
I'm sorry, but how is anybody, guy or girl, or is supposed to deal with somebody else's feelings outside of their own? It's difficult.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if he was like being real sleazy and a dirtbag, I totally agree with you. But if he's just like, he wasn't even pursuing, he was just like in the vicinity of her, and that made her feel uncomfortable, that's her problem, you know.
And on top of that, there's no other allegations that he looked or seemed sleazy. It was just her. So that's the other problem. If there's no other witnesses or anybody to back up said story, it becomes another problem.
I hate using this line, but
yeah.
I hate using this line, but it's basically, as a woman, girls, stop being so damn sensitive. Yes, don't put up with harassment, but pull up your pants, strap on your shoes, and don't take things out of context. Don't twist things to try to mean things that they don't. Because you could very well, this is why allegations should be treated seriously, but at the same time they need to be backed up by evidence and fact, and why we shouldn't have kangaroo courts that just basically takes the word of one person and not verify it on the other person's side. Because false allegations not only hurt the person you're trying to hurt, but it also hurts other people who try to step up, who have legit problems. Because now you can't tell who's doing it for realsies or doing it for attention.
For realsies. But yeah, I agree.
According to Kotaku, I don't like using them, but I'm going to use them. The document which Plague shared with Kotaku stated, with regards to the investigation of harassment, evidence was presented to show a lack of professionalism in our part as well as others. Communication between you and Vince were both inappropriate, unprofessional, and violated our harassment policies. Right there stated that both of them were doing something.
Yeah, both of them were at fault.
So basically an attempt began because, as Philly D has stated recently as well, and what anybody in the professional business should know is HR departments are not there to protect employees, they're protect the company from lawsuits, as Rogue has said too. Which means in order to cover their own asses, they would have had to do a slightly more thorough investigation into Miss Plague's claims to not only hopefully make sure that she wasn't falsifying a claim in order to protect the other staffer, because then if something happened and the other staffer had a problem, he could always sue the company, or that to check that if her claims were correct, what their course of action needed to be so that they protected her rights as an employee so that she didn't sue the company.
Exactly.
And apparently, if this investigation came back that both of them acted inappropriately, then she does not have much ground to stand on if she was a participant in the in this exchange. So.
Quote unquote. Yeah, exactly. Quote unquote harassment.
I mean, something like this is kind of in my ballpark of old profession, because again, I did a couple of years in PI work, and this is unfortunately things that we would have come across: workplace harassment, safety, and all that kind of stuff. And dollar to donuts, when it comes down to it, it's two people just being school kids. Yeah. They're just being school kids. They're being dickheads. And
how old
then
were
one
they're probably our peers. They're either just slightly younger than our peers.
They're within, let's say, 25 to 35 years of age. We'll put it in that group.
Okay, so they're older than no better, but they're not old enough where like you can kind of understand.
Correct.
Okay.
So then you have to put your big boy hat on and you kind of and your binoculars and look at the entire picture and see what's happening. And then, because in my job, all we have to do is observe and report what we've seen, and that's it. Right? And we're an outside. We have no sides in this case. We just want to get to make sure that the company is getting what they're paying for. And this is why I mentioned the whole HR thing, because this is what we deal with on an everyday basis, folks. If you have to deal with an outsider who's a PI, you're pretty much screwed.
Yeah. Just angry.
Well, if you want to get angry, we can always go to Twitter.
No.
Oh, yes, please.
The rage is real.
Yes. So now apparently Twitter is now changing their verification checks.
So the verification badge was originally set to determine who was authentic, who was the real person that they were claiming to be, versus people who were impersonators, or that.
Yeah, so who was the real Slim Shady?
Basically the real Slim Shady.
Yeah.
So if basically you can say, okay, there's the difference between the Robert Downey Jr., the actor, versus some other Robert Downey, who is somebody else's junior, in like Bumfuckville, Kansas. Who knows? Yeah. But when you're addressing him as the Robert Downey Jr., it's the Iron Man guy. So.
Yeah.
But now.
Well, now it's going to be a little bit different. Now they're going to go through all those checks and see who's got the wrong thing.
Verification was meant to authenticate the identity and voice, but it is interpreted as the endorsement and or indicator of importance. We recognize that we have created this confusion and need to resolve it. We have paused all general verifications while we work and will report back. This was their first tweet that went out. This was basically because it wasn't Spencer, but it was some other person that, oh my god, the feminists and social justice warriors cried, Nazi, Nazi, got a blue check mark, and they were angry because they thought they saw it as Twitter endorsing a white nationalism. And you still have people going, no, the check mark is just to indicate that that person is who they are, who they say they are. But
let's be honest here. The blue verification mark is somewhat a badge of honor. You know, people who have it are held a bit more seriously than people without it.
I wouldn't even say that, because you have a lot of Twitter journalists these days who just spew crap out of their mouths.
Well, that was the original intention behind it, at the very least. You got to
No. The original intention. No. The original intention was to identify the actual person from impersonators.
I get that.
As well as people of interest such as actors and journalists. Yes, I get it. As
That's the point. The
I
only reason
understand
why
it,
you would have that
but-
is if you're important enough to need it.
but
Okay, children.
but that's the point, is that they are attempting to use it as not as a badge of honor, but as your.
Actually, I don't mean to interject, but unfortunately, it is treated as a badge of honor. I can understand where Nemo was getting on that one.
Oh, I know what
for
he's saying
some,
too, but
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. Go.
no.
I just want to kind of.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
to move
Sorry.
on. No, it's just that it's being treated as you, like you said, that they have correct think, therefore they get this badge.
Yeah. Yeah, no, now it's being more for the latter and less for the original purpose. That's, I guess, what you're trying to get at, right?
Right, and Twitter is just
Okay,
continuously
sorry.
shooting themselves in the foot. People don't want a platform that says, yes, we hold these people in higher regards because they hold such progressive views. Then it's all
I thought it was regressive views, not progressive views.
Yeah, okay, I meant to say regressive.
I'm sorry. It's all it is bullshit. When it comes down to, it's just a lot more blah and people barking at each other just over a blue check.
Yeah.
That at the end of the day, most people don't even care about.
No, you're right. And can I raise something about this increase in characters? I think they've actually gone a little too far. I think 200 characters would have been fine, but 280, it does seem like a wall of text now.
It's 280 because it's supposed to be double of the 140.
I get that, but it just seems like a wall of text now.
In some cases, if you do a lot of wording, yeah, you can be very expressive with that. And I don't know if I was okay with the 160. I was fine. 140, 160. I can narrow it down to that, or I can put up a little gif of a bear, mauling a person or something to get my expression of my hatred on people across. I got that. Henceforth, we figured out the whole Twitter. See, with Twitter spams like myself, we've mastered the art of trolling on Twitter, and we don't care about the little blue check mark, even though some of us can get it. All we care about is the fact that we get our joke across.
Well, no, this is what Twitter has done. They've effectively rendered the blue check meaningless, because now it's like, we're gonna give the blue check mark to the people we like and we care about, and it means nothing. And then you have people who sit there and go, well, wait a minute, there's something wrong with this, because if you're gonna not be unbiased about this, then the blue check mark really means nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the problem in the end. People have taken the blue check mark to mean too much of a social thing and not enough of a personal thing. And that's why they've shot themselves in the foot.
Oh, well, it's like the FCC shooting themselves in the foot.
Well, hold on. Before we get to the FCC, I wanted to share this picture here of the sneeches on the beaches. Those who have stars upon thars. That's literally what Twitter is doing, and if nobody knows the Dr. Seuss story of the Sneeches, please go check it out, because that's it's a simple little story, and this is why we don't play identity politics.
Before we continue, go to the FCC. Did you get Nemo's new one for his Australia thing?
No, I did not. Nemo needs to send that to me.
Okay,
no, I'm gonna send it to you. It's already been sending. It's in your private chat there.
So
just want to make sure you got that.
Copy and paste. I have to check also. I do have a Rex W in the live chat. He's probably been there for a while, and I've never even noticed. Hey, man. Yeah, feminism.
Oh, jeez.
How's it going? I'm trying to manage multiple things, and I do not have enough.
I'm trying to do exactly the same thing, because I'm looking at Twitter, and I'm glad that Nemo's doing things, because
Nemo's
other things we do, Black Lives.
Yeah, no, I'm quite happy, because you two seem like to be like little lovebirds in the Twitter space. You're saying hi to each other again, which is nice. So you're gonna go for little dates later on?
Wait, us?
Huh,
Nope.
maybe.
No. With Nemo and Mel, that's in the Twitter. Hi.
Oh.
That's my fangirl. Anyway,
A fangirl? Mm.
Oh
apparently,
well. Well, that's good to have. I mean,
yeah.
you know.
So when are you gonna invite her over?
Our little fish is growing up.
Oi, shush. Back in the show.
FCC, what were we doing? Yes. The FCC just
Wait. You gave me
repealed
the gay marriage thing. I thought we were gonna go to that.
No, we're gonna do the FCC, then we're gonna do the gay marriage.
Sorry,
Okay.
technical difficulties.
You want to do the gay? Okay, we can do the gay marriage now. Let's do it now.
Okay.
What were we talking about? We already mentioned gay marriage, so let's do it. Gay Jared, let's go for it. Okay.
You want me to take over now?
Fuck the FCC. We're gonna go to gay marriage.
Okay.
Okay. Well, over the last couple of months, Australia's spent about $120 million on a postal survey vote that basically will
Okay,
decide whether or not
Okay, hang on, stop. You said 120 mil?
$120 million.
Okay, so you consider all that money spent, was that spent wisely
No.
for a vote? Whether it should be yes or
But
no?
letters that go in the mail. That's how much it costs to send, well, basically 18 million letters.
Do you know how many people they could feed with that?
I know, a lot. A lot. You know? A shit ton.
Okay, I know. So anyways, getting back to your story, I didn't mean to interject.
Anyway, so then, you know, people voted and, you know, the results were tallied the other day, and it turns out 61.6% of Australia says yes to gay marriage, and 38.4% say no. So, you know, they're going to follow through with the gay marriage thing, which is a good thing for gay people. They deserve the right to get married.
Yeah, but I'm gonna kind of ask this one. Overall participation rate for the survey,
75%.
79.5.
Yeah, 79.
So roughly about 80%. That means there's 20% that's
Accounted.
untapped. So that puts it. If we say those guys abstain, those would be within, okay, maybe the no category, possibly.
Well,
So that puts it
I would
close
argue
to.
that everyone that voted yes, voted yes. Anyone that was going to vote yes didn't forget. I would imagine that, but maybe I'm wrong. You know?
But
yeah,
still,
so
you're looking at close to 40% of people, with the 20% of who, which could give you about 50% of the population, roughly about 50% of the population in Australia that don't like where things are going.
Yeah, that's right. You know, and not just that, but also this, well, has already had issues because some of these people have said, yes, we're going to force bakeries to do cakes. Yes, we're going to force churches to marry. These is going to be a thing of law now for the places that don't want to participate in equal marriage. You know, which is another problem altogether.
Could you see an exodus happening in your nation?
I don't think there'll be an Oz-X. And it's not.
I mean, can you imagine all the little provinces just kind of putting up their own independent wall?
Well, there's something I want to mention. There's a couple of cities, right? I haven't got the statistics here. I'm sorry, I couldn't find them. But there's a city that got the highest no vote. And you ready for this? 88% of them said no. In a particular city in New South Wales.
That hurts.
So for them, that's quite the predicament. And once again, and this is what we go to with that whole, now people are being forced to allow marriage in their places, and that's where it becomes a bit of a prickly pear. Like, I think they should be allowed to get married, but should people be forced to marry them?
I don't know. I thought it would be a prickly pickle, but okay.
It's what you're doing is you're forcing people to choose between morality and religion.
Yes.
And here's the here's the problem.
And the law.
And right.
Actually, no. Not just that, but you're also forcing the right to do what they feel like they should be doing, versus what the law demands you to do. So.
Exactly.
Instead of the law protecting the people, now the people are being forced by. So basically, it's not a democracy that you're facing. It's now you're facing a republic or a communistic style approach.
And this is
right. It literally might make right.
This is my stance on this whole thing. I wouldn't call it same-sex marriage. I would call it a union. Give it all the same. Give it all of the same privileges and benefits and legal rights that a married couple have, but keep marriage strictly for more religious, to protect the religious aspect, and for those who are same-sex couples, it's a union.
Yeah.
Well, I know it's in Canada that we have the civil unions and we have marriages. They're created by one's with the Church of whatever, Latter-day Saints or whatever you want, even the tree gods, and the other is done by the justice of the peace, the the judges and that. So
and the
you have two
captains of
separate.
ships.
Yeah, again, those are what we have. We didn't have to vote for that. That was already implemented into our system. A lot of us agreed upon it, and we kind of went, okay, cool. We don't mind this idea. There's a separation of church and state. I mean, we may not be Americans, but we try to separate the religious from the government as best we can. Because when you bring government and religion together, you end up with Sharia law.
Yeah.
Oh.
I didn't mean to bring in the Muslims, but the Muslims were there.
No, sorry, I had to bring in the Muslims.
Well, here's what it becomes. If you don't protect both the sanctity of marriage and religion and people's right to marry whoever they want, then you either become a bigot against gays or you become a bigot against religion. You can protect both by classifying them as different things based on who they're marrying. Marriage between man and woman based on religious ceremony. That way you protect those who want to serve on the religious side, and then also say it's against my religion to do gay marriages. And then you have those who will do the same-sex civil unions and leave it at that.
Yes.
Protect religion, but also give the civil rights.
The government gets the fuck out of marriage in the first place.
Well, that's a good classic. What is it? Conservative and libertarian approach. We want government away from marriage. Hell, we want government away from a lot of things, because the moment you put government in something, it fucks shit up.
Yeah.
Government is nice to have.
I forget who the guy is. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. But there was a guy that says, "I'll pay you $1,000 if you can name anything the government can do better than the free market." And he's...
No, you know what? Better yet, I can probably give you $1 million and say, "Hey, you tell me something that the government can do better than the free market can." Yeah. Because right now, the government has its fingers in a lot of things.
I could tell you. I could tell you what the government could do a lot better than the free market. Genocide.
Yeah, I can do that. Yes. It probably, I can do that.
I mean, you know what?
You win.
If genocide became like a proper...
I'll collect my $1 million now, thank you.
No. If genocide became like a profit-making entity, I am sure capitalism could do that better too.
Yeah, it could possibly do it if you allow it to happen.
Oh no, but they not only do it better, they could do it more efficiently because they have all the weapons.
Yeah.
I do not want to give Bill Gates that freedom.
Speaking of
the FCC is given the FCC has repealed a 42-year-old rule blocking broadcasters or broadcasting media to merge. There's something that is given the golden key to people, but then again, this is old media that no one really cares about nowadays, for the most part. These certain generations don't care about, versus what new media is doing in a degree. But your FCC is crazy.
This is the last dying breaths of the FCC trying to keep media alive. That's what it is.
Well, you're looking at newspaper, radio stations, televisions, all being owned by handfuls of companies, now being able to merge to be one big-ass ship.
Yeah.
This, I know, is going to be more effective on Penn's end, because here in Canada, we just have 4 or 5 stations, and they're all controlled by one company.
They're all controlled by the CBC, right?
Yeah, they're all, those 5 CBC.
Yeah. Sorry.
Four English, one French. That's it. Pen, how does this affect you?
Basically, if a company wants to come along and they say, yeah, we kind of want to buy up your programming, they gobble me up, and then they could effectively lay me off. And then they own everything that I ever made.
Okay.
So think of it like
this, the question is, would this only affect the smaller, or is this would affect the large ones? For example,
no, it could.
let's say Disney. Disney is trying to go into their own streaming services. Would this affect them?
Disney would be, of course, one of the larger companies that's going to sit there and gobble up people.
Okay, so we're looking at the smaller franchises like the.
But here's the thing: you still have the larger companies that can merge with each other. Not necessarily that they're one is outdoing the other, but by merging, now you start getting like the super conglomerate of entertainment, which has all the money and the lawyers and everything, and they could effectively prevent people. To making their own programming, they could sit there and have lobbyists put tighter restrictions on what's considered actual entertainment or media. I mean, look at the.
So basically, you're creating the CBC.
Basically, what you're looking at is look at what's happening with YouTube partnering with all of these other networks to make YouTube TV. Yes, they're working together, but now by doing that, YouTube says we're going to prioritize all of these other news stations and entertainment stations over those who are independents, even though they feature CNN, which CNN has no ethical standards anymore.
They never did. I don't think they ever did, really. Be honest. I don't think they really did.
Maybe once upon a time in its infancy, maybe.
See again. Maybe. I don't know, because I'm confused with CNN. I mean, it's like Fox News. I'm confused with them, too. It's like, do I believe everything that you say?
I don't believe...
NBC, I don't know.
You know what? I don't believe what any of them say these days.
Now,
I think they tell nothing but half truths.
Now, this is something that I do have a bit of a quandary with. I do believe that companies should be able to make partnerships how they would like to, but there is the flip side of, oh God, what do you do when you have two larger companies effectively creating a monopoly, which we should have laws against, which we do have laws against, but so long as there's one other company to compete with the supposed conglomerate, it's not considered a monopoly. But a duopoly is not necessarily all that much better, because they can sit there and agree to price fix, they can sit there and agree to schedule certain.
Yeah, they can. I'm gonna kind of throw you back up to the north here. In Canada, we have, like I said before, 4, 5 channels if you include the French channel. But we have, when it comes down to the telecommunications, our TV, and whatever cable internet thrown together, we have at least 5 different companies that we can go to. They all have subsidiaries, meaning that they have an umbrella company that's controlled by them. But at the end of the day, you're still paying your hard-earned dollar to one of these major bigwigs. So for us, we have, TELUS Communications. We have Rogers Communications, which is also kind of called Rogers AT&T, because the two of them work together. We also have Virgin, which is, again, an American company that's up here. We have Bell Mobile, and they pretty much took everything over, those major 4. The 5th one used to be an independent that was eventually eaten up by one of the big 4. So, yeah, they're nice that they're there, but at the end of the day, we're stuck with picking one of 4.
Yeah.
So yeah, you guys are heading down that nice slippery slope of what's happening up here in the north. And everybody says, and everybody wants to be like Canada.
Nope.
Yeah, and just for context, we're a little mix between Canada and Australia, where we've got our own companies that have like their own government paid for broadcasting things, and we've got ones that are owned by actual companies, and it's a bit of a mix of both. But it's complicated.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But when you look across the pond, or you look, gaze up northern, and you kind of go, "Ooh, they may have it figured out." No, we don't. We have our own issues, and you guys don't see the underlying issues. But we can tell you what the issues
And this
are.
is why it goes back to one of our previous stories in this segment with the whole Twitter verification is now you have
Yep.
the badge of honor of the right opinions. Therefore, think of it as a bigger company like Twitter or any or a media company basically giving stamp of approval because you hold the right opinions and because the government doesn't step in. I hate it. I don't want government intervention, but at the same time, it needs to be for the protection of the consumers too, as well as the creators. You can't have these giant companies going unchecked, blocking every Dick and Harry and Sari and Mary from creating their own thing and getting their own startups off the ground. And then getting effectively blocked because they either hold a different opinion than the major companies or they're just providing a different source of entertainment.
Yeah, no, that's a problem altogether. I mean, either way you look at it, you're treading on a huge block of landmines, and you just hope like hell you don't explode with it. You're doomed.
Speaking of companies and landmines and
being
boy.
exploding.
And well, I should say needing to wave the white flag of surrender.
Are we going to EA?
Well, we could go to EA or we could go to companies and companies fighting against the government. Cards Against Humanity.
Oh, yeah, that'd be I wasn't too sure.
Are they actually doing something I like for once?
Were we doing something that you like?
Well,
What do
I
you
don't know.
like?
Cards Against Humanity are usually very SJW-y. They're actually doing something against the government. I can get on their side.
Cards Against Humanity buys land at the Mexican border in bid to stop Donald Trump's wall building.
Donald Trump.
Oh, the SJW shit.
The company behind the popular Cards Against Humanity game says it has bought up a plot of vacant land along the Mexican border, which you'd think would be owned by the government anyways, but whatever. In a bid to stop Donald Trump from building
Wait. I have a question. I'm a kid from the north. I have to ask. I thought Americans weren't allowed to buy up Mexican land.
Yeah, I don't think they are either.
It's the American side of the border.
I still call this fake news because I'm pretty sure you can't own that land on the border because, as you said, it's owned by the government. And this problem's easily solved by either building on. Well, I guess you'd have to build on Mexico's side because that'd be an agreement with Mexico anyway. But it's a problem that's easily solved. They haven't stopped anything. That's assuming that they can do this.
So
and
we
that
purchased
fuck off.
Quote.
Sorry.
So we purchased a plot of land on the border and retained a law firm specializing in eminent domain to make it as time-consuming and expensive as possible for the wall to get built. So they're willing to run themselves into bankruptcy.
Just so they can try to delay a stateside wall.
It's stupid. It's so stupid.
Okay, so here's the other thing that's pretty stupid. That a company, a very small company, is going to go up against a massive conglomerate of the federal government who has an abundant amount of, power behind it.
And infinite money.
Pretty much.
I still don't see what would stop. Literally, if they say, okay, where does your land stop? And then, move the wall just, 15 feet south of that. And say...
That's exactly what I'm thinking.
Well, I thought that'd be the most logical thing, because they would have an actual blueprint, or at least the mapping of where the land ends and where it begins, because you do an assessment. Well, I know up here in Canada we do assessments of our land ownership if we have land, and the government's already figured out where your plot of land begins and ends. So in case there is a dispute between the two parties, all you have to do is unfoil the actual, assessment and kind of go, okay, according to the map, this is your part of land, and it goes all the way up until this ocean or this little river here, and beyond that, it goes to somebody else's. So your claimant of this and this ain't happening. So technically, you're wrong.
Yeah.
So this would be the same things. Yes, it's really great that uh, Cards Against Humanity or CAH, or the people behind it, CA. I like the word CA. Great that they tried. I wish them the best of luck. I give them a golf clap.
Okay. I'm glad they believe in something so passionate and they're willing to fight for it. But I think this is a stupid hill to die on.
It's an absolutely stupid hill to die on.
So that's what I'll give them. They have great conviction. I'm glad they stand up for what they believe in, but this is not.
But here's the other thing. Here's the other thing I have to ask. If they're willing to die on this hill, are they sure that this is actually going to go through? Because the last time I remember, the Republicans couldn't even agree on even the current state of Obamacare at the moment. They haven't passed an actual amendment to this catastrophe of medical yet.
Yeah.
Let alone have they been able to figure where the funding is coming from for the wall.
But realistic, well, here's what they're going to do with the wall. Even though it's not okay, they'll do it. They'll pay for it first, and they'll get Mexico to pay back in debt. As a debt. That's how they'll do it.
Possibly. Actually, you know what? To be honest, I can actually see each state, the ones that are bordering states, are actually going to build the wall regardless.
Yeah, probably. I don't know, man. As long as if Donald Trump does get this done, he's got his next term guaranteed. But he needs to get it done.
No, he needs to get it done before.
If he doesn't, there's a real chance.
He needs to get it done before the end of his first term.
Yeah, exactly. If he does that, he's got a guaranteed re-election. If he doesn't, he's fucked.
There's actually this picture that I had seen. I was looking for it, and I'm glad I found it on Twitter.
Hang on.
So just to show you guys and show the people on YouTube as well as Cards Against Humanity saves America by buying a plot of land, and then it's a picture of the border, and then it's a picture of the Cards Against Humanity land ownership. And then it says U.S. and Mexico separating the two sides. Here, let me put this in show topic so you guys can see it. And then it's basically showing Ka says, "Ha, suck it, Trump. Oh shit, wait, no, get away!" Because all of the immigrants are rushing to the Cards Against Humanity land, which the wall basically, the U.S. basically said, okay, we're just going to build the wall around your land. Yeah, we're willing to forsake this little bit of land just to get the wall built. Now you belong to Mexico, bitches.
Yeah. It just, I don't know. It just seems like that whole, that like the other ones below it, the kid who decided to put, his finger in front of this, trail of ants, and they decided to go around him anyways. Well, they can also swarm on his arm and eat him.
Yeah, it really is cutting off his own nose. They're cutting off their own nose to spite their face.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, once again, I'm glad they can believe in something. I'll give them that.
I give them all the credits in the world, but that's about it. Nice golf clap all the way around. Congratulations. Alright. Congratulations, Cards Against Humanity. You tried to save America. America is fine. It's doing its thing, and at least he's not receiving any death threats.
Yes.
Yep. And then moving on to EA.
Let's go to the shitstorm that is EA.
The curious case of the EA game dev who said he received death threats.
Well, it's also been proven that he may have not have been in actual dev, because EA has no
record.
It has nothing. They have no record. They have no employment of said person who received these death threats, and it's questionable. So yeah, that's kind of the gist of it, unfortunately, because on EA's side, they kind of went, okay, we just got this information of people getting our death threats and whatnot, so let's find out if this was an actual employee. And then after cross-referencing and all the details and everything that they had on their end, yeah, no, yeah, it was not an actual person who worked for EA.
So
If you don't get a death threat, you're not really trying.
Well, that's true. But the other thing I have to consider this one is that making up your own death threats, it's counterproductive. Wait for the real ones. Those ones are awesome. You print those bad boys out, you frame them, you put them up in your wall so that the people who are watching can see that you already have somebody who's gunning for you.
Yeah, like I was proud when I got my first death threat, and I'm trying to remember the guy's name. Remember that guy that caused Thunderfoot all that trouble?
Oh yeah, I remember that. I remember that guy. Remember?
But he was the guy that gave me he's the guy that gave me my very first death threat on Twitter.
Well, congratulations.
Said he was gonna lynch me.
Did he?
All right, so
yeah, the beautiful bastard. And I thanked him for it.
All right, so why would somebody either make up getting this death threat, or why would anybody receive death threats for EA to begin with? Well, because of the whole EA Battlefront 2 controversy surrounding their loot crates. And even when they have first...
Those who've been under a rock, let's go back on this one. We have covered this particular topic since what?
At least the last 2 weeks.
Almost about 3 weeks, almost a full month of us talking about this particular topic, going back and forth whether we're pro or against the good, the bad, the ugly, the stupid things that EA has done. From creating the loot crates in the first place to making it so that it's a pay-to-win system to now whatever it is they've done. So the gist of it, they've cut prices for the heroes to be unlocked by 75%.
But they also cut. It's like they cut the prices, but they also cut how much you get in rewards from the single player and the online. So basically, percentage-wise, there is no change. And then
you look at it. It takes up to what $2,000 in order to get all the characters unlocked.
It either takes 6 months or $2,000 to unlock everything in Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Yep.
$2,000. Wait, is that to unlock everything or unlock all the characters? Because there is an.
It says unlock everything.
Everything. $2,000, $2K. You give EA.
And that's a lot of money. But if you're spending that type of money just so you can be a what they call a completionist, it's kind of your own problem.
Now, I'm not one against the taking up time to unlock stuff, and I'm trying not to get any hate. Let me just explain my position, and then I will add a follow-up to that.
Oh, let the hate flow.
I play World of Warcraft. I play Final Fantasy XIV. I am not opposed to grinding out for experience, for points, in order to use that currency, the in-game currency, to unlock things. And sometimes it takes time, especially with World of Warcraft. You have reputation that you need to get to an exalted level in order to unlock everything that particular groups or factions unlock to you, such as additional mounts or armor or whatnot. Now here's the thing. Understandably, it does not take 6 months to do all that. It might take 2, maybe 3 months if you're very vigilant at it. So I can understand it is it does seem like an unreasonably long amount of time to do it. I'm okay with grinding out time, but it can be done within about a month, maybe, and that's stretching it, maybe 2.
Okay, so let's do some number crunching since I like numbers and data and all that kind of stuff. That's the biggest thing. According to whatever's been posted, There are a total of 342 star cards currently available in the game. And to upgrade those characters and whatnot, you'll need approximately 155,000 crafting parts. A little bit more, say 156. Those cards unlock things like soldier classes, vehicles, iconic Star Wars heroes. But according to some math, unlocking everything would require the opening of approximately 3,111 loot crates,
Jesus.
which you'd earn through the game, and you would have to spend up to 4,528 hours of gameplay.
It's a long time.
That's a very long. So that's approximately, if you do the math on that one, that's about 6 months of your time to get it legitimately.
Figure the average
6 months.
person spends anywhere from 6 to 8 hours minimum of gameplay
Yeah,
per
that is
day per week.
yeah. Now, if
Now-
you were somebody who's an avid gamer and like somebody who doesn't have a life, you might be able to get it done in less than that. Now,
Oh my
here's the
god, he must
weird
have no luck at all.
I know. But here's the weirder thing. Now, if you decide to buy said loot crates, you need approximately 3,000. Actually, to be honest, to be more closer to 3,100, maybe. Which you would need approximately 250,000 crystals.
Okay.
And now each crystal bundle is done up in hundreds, so you can get 100 crystals in a bundle, which, whatever it is, you can pretty much spend a lot of money. Do the math and blah, you end up with approximately, $2,100 to spend on whatever you want in game. So let's ignore that.
Yeah.
The cost of the heroes are now 75%. Let's ignore the factor that,
Well,
that
here's the thing. The fact that you got to pay for the
or
heroes. Sorry.
yeah.
Well,
Can I just
No,
interrupt?
go
I've
ahead.
been waiting a little bit. Okay.
Go ahead.
The fact that you have to pay for the heroes is still a fucking insult. The whole problem with this in the first place is I don't really have a problem with loot crates. If you want to pay to make your character look pretty, or you want to play to make your character look pretty, that's your own problem. But if you've got to pay, or you can pay, to give yourself an unfair advantage, that's where things become bullshit.
well, at the same time, now going forward, I shouldn't say at the same time. The latest update, because of all of this backlash of how long it would take players or how much money it would take players in order to unlock all the star cards and all the stuff in the game, EA has released a statement. EA and
Yes.
DICE have released a statement basically saying, we've heard what you've said and we thank you to everyone in our community for being the passionate fans you are. Our goals have always been to create the best possible game for all of you. But as we approach the worldwide launch, it's clear that many of you feel there are still challenges in the design. We heard the concerns about potential giving players unfair advantages, and we've heard that this is overshadowing an otherwise great game. That was never our intention, and we're sorry we didn't get it right. We heard you loud and clear, so we're turning off all in-game purchases. All in-game with real money. Mm-hmm. We will now spend more time listening, adjusting, balancing, and tuning. Which is great. This means that the option to purchase crystals in the game is now offline and all progression will be earned through gameplay. Yay! But now here's the other part. The ability to purchase crystals in-game will become available at a later date. Only after we've made changes to the game.
Yes. There's always going to be a but. Yes, we've got rid of this item, but we're going to bring it back when you guys are not looking.
Yeah, when your guard is down, we're gonna bring it back because we're dicks.
So
Well, they're
toss
EA.
out that little bait. Toss out that little bait to say, no, 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 we care about you guys. Here, we're taking it away. And then once you've gotten all your players back saying, no, they've really changed, it's okay. And once you've had your established group playing the game,
It's a
3
trap.
to 4 to 5 to 6 months in, it's like, now we're going to give you the ability to buy crystals, to buy the loot crates.
Yeah. Yeah. And, but I don't know. I said my thing is just get rid of the power-ups in these loot crates. Just make it purely cosmetic like Overwatch.
Well, here's the argument.
It'd be great if it was. If it was. Yeah, I'm sorry. I was going to say if it was going to be a cosmetic. To a point, it's great, but it still opens up that can of worm of that cosmetic can do a lot more damage because now people are going unless I'm losing my train of thought because this thing is infuriating. Go ahead, Pen. Do whatever you want to do.
I was basically going to follow up that basically you and Sid Alpha are saying the same thing. Even if it was purely cosmetic, it still opens the door just a crack in order to allow something like Pay to Win to creep its little claws back into the game again.
You know, you're right there. And you know what? I will backtrack my statement for that. Because it opens the door, just like it does when you get the government involved, it will the same way this way. Once you open the door for in-game purchases, it opens the door for Pay to Win. So that way I'll agree with you.
The only acceptable thing I see, get rid of the loot crates entirely. As it's been mentioned by multiple people, this is basically a digital Skinner box. And anybody who doesn't know what a Skinner box is, it's basically that little experiment where you have a rat that pushes the button and it gets a treat kind of thing. And it's basically trained to keep pushing that button so that it can keep getting the treats, so that it keeps getting its little dopamine effect that, yay, I got something good.
Correct.
Wait.
It's exactly. Go ahead. I was gonna add to that. It's exactly the reason why both me and Sin and a few others like me kind of look at this and kind of go, it doesn't matter whether you're looking at just basic skins, like that's not going to change anything in game. The problem is not only are you getting your dopamines in one way, but you're also creating ire in another way. It comes back down to the old red versus blue, team red versus team blue. Now the perception of team red, because you're looking at the red, you're getting a degree of anger, a degree of energy. You're getting a different feel of emotion. You're going to be more you're going to be more aggressive, more intuitive to get the job done. While red is a very prominent and dominant color, whereas blue is a little bit more understated. It's calm, it's serene, and you're going to be very pacified by it. So it's the same kind of approach when it comes down to your loot crates or giving people their extra treats. They're going to be enticed to get the other one and the next one. And people seeing that are kind of going, ooh, he got that. How do I get that?
Well, it's...
Yeah. And listen, I'll admit, I've even been a victim of in-game purchases like Fallen, especially in my earlier years. So I get what you're saying. I hate the... And I don't
I understand that you want to go with let the free market deal with the situation, but the problem with the free market...
And that's always been my argument here, is let the people decide. I'm sorry people are retarded, but that's their own fault.
People are retarded, and unfortunately, the people who are retarded make it bad for everybody, including the ones who say, "Hey, let the the system work itself out." You can't, because the system is going to evolve and change because of the stupid people.
What I was going to end up saying, though, is get rid of the loot boxes, and if the companies wanted to do anything, make it out-of-game purchases. Similar to World of Warcraft. You can buy certain mounts, you can buy certain pets. They don't do or add anything, and people know that you bought them because that's the only way that you can get them.
Yeah. I agree.
At least, wait a minute. At least it's out.
I was going to say I agree.
No. Nemo, let her do her thing.
At least it's out of the game. Then the effects of the adrenaline wear off, and they can make as more of a rational decision if they want to buy a digital item in the game, or not. That's
I was going to say
Go
I
ahead,
agree.
Go ahead.
I understand that, but I've been actually trying to say this for a while, so I was just trying to have an uninterrupted chain of thought. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Henceforth, why I did what I did. I apologize, but still,
Okay.
now that we've kind of had our roundtable argument, which is going to give us a lot more views, because people like us when we get arguing.
I am slightly dissatisfied with your behavior, Nemo.
Yeah. No, I'm right. No, I'm. Even though I agree with you, I don't entirely agree with you.
So on a slightly happier note and something that warms my heart, as in the old days of 2D animation.
Yes, Cuphead, everybody's personal favorite.
Cuphead.
The creators of Cuphead are excited that their game has sold over 1 million copies in 2 weeks, so much so that they're anticipating creating another game. Now, when asked how are they going to do the next game, what form of media are they going to use? Well, they're going to be sticking with their 2D animation because they believe that games like theirs don't get enough love and attention. 2D animation was a classic back in the day and not being utilized as it used to be current games in that. So this is their direction. And to be honest, I love this direction.
Yeah, me too.
It's a brilliant idea. It homes their market even further that they're the only ones who do 2D gaming.
Yeah.
Even if it's platform-based gaming or sides, they're the only ones who do it.
It's 2D animation as the old style that we know from the 1930s, 1940s.
Yeah.
Yeah, that really beautiful animation that just really isn't done anymore. They're doing
Nemo. It's that racist animation that's been holding down the colored folk for God knows how long.
Oh yeah, you're right. Sorry.
Yeah. We gotta remember that's prejudice, animation, but we still love it nonetheless.
Yeah, that cat, the one from that cat looks really racist to me. All them, that purple and the yellow eyes.
Well, listen. If you watch it carefully, on his third form, he puts on a white hood.
Oh, he does. And somewhere along the line, he's got a little mustache. It comes up, a little tiny one, just right underneath his nose.
Oh, I think I kind of see it.
A little black
yeah.
flick that goes over.
Yeah, I kind of see it.
Yeah. I remember that animation back in, again, Tom and Jerry. That's a classic style for the cat, for Tom. Because if I remember correctly, this is going back. That would have been Tom. That would have been the original concept of Tom, because he would have been more or less silverish blue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But he would have had all the rag. He would have looked like a cat before they made him upright and
anthropomorphic.
Thank you. By my entire speech and speech impediments, it's like, you know what? Screw it. You're screwed. You're fucked. So yes. Upright, making him upright.
I think
almost furry-like in some way.
What you're meaning to say is erect. No.
Yeah, you could say erect. I'm trying to avoid that because Nemo gets all hot and bothered anytime you mention erect.
Yes, I do. I can't help it. Jesus, it's my cross to bear, okay?
It's usually either you or the dragon that gets really weird after I say something that's kind of sketchy.
Well, here's the thing: the dragon's already off courting his mate, so.
Dragonath.
Yeah. He's already trying to get something erect already. Well, we see. We went from all that shitty news to something really fun and entertaining. So let's guess. What do you think their next game is going to be?
Cuphead!
That's a good question. No, it won't be. They'll do a totally new game.
That'd be too obvious. Maybe they might go with something brand new.
I hope they do. I look forward to it. And you know what? Because they do the 2D animation the way that they do, they could have more than just a gaming studio. They really could.
I know.
You know
Well,
what?
keep him. Well, I have to. I don't mean to interrupt. I have to. Yeah, I have to pull us all back to that one that we mentioned that they put their house up for Hawk. They actually hired more animators in order to complete this game. So it was a total of 9 people.
I think so.
Yeah.
That's insane. So yeah, they 9 people to produce that. Could you imagine if they actually did that and got into the movies? Or at least a short cartoon
Well, I mean, if you have
Yeah,
that
I know.
every now and
blacklist,
then.
if you have that Hollywood blacklist, it might actually have caused them problems. So who knows?
Mm.
Yeah.
So
But
Nemo, you
I
want
was
to say
gonna say,
something?
I had a brainwave. What if they did a game with the devil's perspective, like him getting the
Ooh.
soul or something?
He's like, no, I
Well, that would
run
be
I
interesting.
run a legit business here. We made a deal. Your soul's for
Yeah.
winning, and I'm being cheated out of
That
my
would be an
deal.
interesting, yeah. That would
Yeah.
be an interesting approach. The flipping it so you can see how the devil got all these souls.
Yeah. And it wouldn't be so obvious. And I know we're using their world, but right now, these guys are so imaginative, I can't even try to think of what they could come up with given all the opportunities they have now. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, no. There's a
Like
lot of
really, the
anime.
world's their fucking oyster right now.
Oh yeah.
And I'm glad.
Well, it's speaking of worlds and oysters. Let's go even further to the animation world.
Okay.
Coco.
Coco.
You guys
Oh,
ready
yeah.
for something? Yes, Coco. Basically, it's another Mexican-based story of a child trying to, gain his stardom in music, and yet he finds that he's got a family secret.
That's right.
Yes.
Can we try the preview?
I'm actually
Well,
showing
Well,
the
I'm only
trailer.
doing it on. Yeah, I'm doing that on the Twitch streams as well.
Good.
I may not have any volume
And of
going
course,
on,
it's
but
from
Maybe I'm a little
Disney.
behind.
it's Disney. I don't want to have Disney,
Yeah,
trying
Disney
to
get on
steal our-
angry with us.
Yeah, Disney, we're
Like they
promoting your
usually
shit. Please
do.
don't hate us.
We love your shit, Disney, and we're kind of going from there. It looks very interesting. I hope that uh, it's not barraged by a lot of hate.
Yeah.
Because it's coming out this Thanksgiving for those who care. So yes,
It's a
America.
it's a very pretty movie.
It
And
looks gorgeous.
it does run the risk of coming into that like whole going over tropes that have already been done before. And I really hope it doesn't do that again. Do that.
Well, when it comes down to it, it probably will. It is the same people who's done like Dory in stories, Toy Stories and that. So, yeah, you could probably get a run through it.
Well, but Toy Story and even Finding Dory were pretty unique movies in and of themselves. So
Yeah.
I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about being a copy of that other that I keep on forgetting the name of. That was very similar concept.
You keep forgetting the name of a show that has very similar concepts.
No,
If you know what,
Penina, help me here.
I don't think I can. There is no hope for you.
No, you don't.
no, but
no,
apparently, okay, and apparently there's a movie that you both have seen that has something similar to
Oh,
this.
the Book of Life.
Thank
Made by the
you.
same guys who've done the El Tigre shows from Nickelodeon.
Okay.
It was a very good story, very cute story.
It was a very cute.
It has a similar. This movie has a similar premise, but the first one was more like true love between a love triangle kind of thing going on, and two guys, best
Okay,
friends, competing for the
but-
same girl and traveling to the underworld to try to get his girl. It really wasn't based
Okay,
on
so
that,
this
but
is
like the.
yeah, but this one here, okay, taking that idea, this is an aspiring musician, Miguel, confronted with his family ancestral secret and ban on music. So we're looking at something similar but very different in concepts. So it could
Yeah.
be the fact that we don't. Again, I'm not too sure. I've never seen the film.
Well, the reason
Yes.
why I'm saying similar is they both go to the same place. They both go to the underworld. They both
The
meet
Day
their
of the
Both
Dead.
involved
Well, again,
music,
the-
both
the-
involved the underworld, both involved Day of the Dead kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Both
well,
involve
I
this
mean,
culture.
all right. So even if you go to, let's say, Greek and Roman culture, you're going to have Hades, or you're going to have the
No,
underworld
of course,
mentioned.
of course.
So
And I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining.
no.
And I'm not even saying it's going to be bad based on it. I'm just saying I hope they don't take too many things from that, you know?
No, I
Well,
don't
from
think
what I
so.
can see
They're not.
trailer-wise,
From what I can see from the trailer,
they're
they're
not
not.
even going near it.
Okay, fine.
No.
Fine.
Because both Pen and I have just seen the full trailer, and yeah,
So have I. So I know. And maybe I'm a
it,
cynical bastard, okay? But I just
you
get
are a
that
cynical bastard,
bad scratch on my
but
neck.
you're a
that-
lovable cynical bastard.
Yeah. That gives a bad scratch on my neck that tells me they're gonna, you know, that it could go that way. Not that it will, that it's a possibility.
Ooh, I'm looking at the actual list of actors.
Oh,
Okay, so
Kevin Smith?
well,
No.
let's see here. Let's go with the solid of no, like you're looking at the little delay here. Now you're going to see the list of actors. So you have Anthony Gonzalez, which is a new voice actor. Hasn't done too much. Was it Gail Bernia? I forget that. I just butchered that one. Benjamin Bratt is in it. Benjamin Bratt's in this one? Wow. They've got a few Hispanics in this particular movie, keeping it very authentic.
Yeah, you'd hope
Similar,
so.
like having the Rock and that other chick. I can't pronounce her name. The main actress from
Yeah.
Moana, both being of Polynesian descent.
Yeah, but you'd have Hawaii. Yeah, they all have Hawaiian descent. This one here has all Hispanic descent. So I see where Disney is going to in order to prevent the actual uprise of having the white man, portray a Hispanic character. Blah blah blah.
How dare they?
My issue is, as long as they find the right actor who can portray the message and the story, it should not matter what their background is.
Yeah, it shouldn't. It really shouldn't.
I don't want to.
Speaking of background,
do not want to limit talent for.
No, you never do.
For trivial things, and yes, it is trivial.
Yeah.
Well, before we move on to the next thing, and this is kind of more of an impromptu because I actually saw it earlier today.
Okay.
Speaking of Disney, they have released their teaser trailer for The Incredibles 2, which comes out summer next year.
Oh.
And it's basically just showing off Jack a little bit more with his powers. Or...
Not Jack.
Jack.
The cute little baby that is.
The cute little baby that is.
That's right.
I don't know. Jack, the cute little baby that is.
Jack actually appears a little more aware even in his toddler state. Like, he knows what's going on.
Doesn't he have... He's supposed to have, like, the multitudes of different powers. Yep. He's able to phase, he's able to shoot
lasers.
What was it, lasers out of his eyes? There was another thing he was able to do.
Set himself on fire?
He could fly.
Yes, he could fly.
Kind of fly.
And yes, he could also send himself to blame, yeah. So he's
and,
a very
I thought lastly also, couldn't he turn himself into like iron or whatever?
Oh, he also has electrical powers.
Nice.
Which makes me wonder, I think this is good. I've
been waiting a long time for Incredibles.
If you want my honest opinion, I think the premise of the story is going to be, since it's been 15 years later, it's going to be Jack in his youth trying to figure out, he has so much power built up on it inside of him that he can't control it. And that it's basically, the premise of the story is he's going to just basically figuring out how to control his powers.
Yeah.
The trailers show off one thing: babies with superpowers are dangerous. yes, they are.
We have a heroic Nico in the YouTube live chat. Is like Jack is the X-Men of is X-Men the baby.
Yes, he is X-Men the baby. Jack begins to manifest powers after he was kidnapped by the supervillain Syndrome. Babies are already destructive with their non-superpower state, but in this teaser, we just see how dangerous they can be with them. Interesting. So, depending which way they want to go with this, they can either show Jack as later in let's say toddler years trying to get used to his powers and going up, or they can pretty much repeat the whole syndrome thing again, which also was, to be honest, that was hilarious, as well as the babysitter. That was
Yes.
also, yeah. Those two scenes, those two moments were the better ones, I would have to
So
say.
we got
Hey man, I love Incredibles 1. The whole movie was awesome, in my
was.
opinion.
We got a Batman who may be joining us for the last part of the show here in just a moment.
All right.
Oh, he finally showed up. We were talking about superpower characters, and he shows up. My
The
God.
guy who has no superpowers, talking about the baby.
Yeah, he's now going to tell us how to take down the
Yeah, now
baby.
he's going to take us how to take down the baby. So I'll give him a second here to get in. But we
Get in, get out.
But yeah, I can't believe it's taken Pixar so long. Sorry, actually.
No, I can see why it would take Pixar so long, because of the factor that you would have to figure out where you want to take that particular story and where you want to go next with it. And unfortunately, with the state of Hollywood as it is, they would have to be careful with how they approach it. Because if they approach it too soon. Oh, dear
It's
God, it's Batman.
Thank you for the link.
You're welcome.
Oh. We've been only waiting for you for a while.
Well, I didn't know. Well, I was on Red and Eagle's stream.
Oh, so
Saturday
how's
night.
it? It's okay. It's okay. So how's everything in Gotham?
It got so bad I moved.
Oh.
He had to relook everything in
I
the
thought
Batcave. He had to change his name, probably legal status.
Is he not
Do you
going
know
by
how hard it was to move Crime Alley?
I can only imagine.
A brick at a
Battle,
time.
they wanna
A
get
brick
it
at a time.
So
So
they're doing a sequel
so where
to
were
The
we?
we were talking about
Incredibles.
the Incredibles.
Yeah. We were talking about the
And-
Incredibles, and we just kind of went over, and we were talking about how Jack has all these superpowers and that, and we're trying to guess where Pixar is going to go with their state of their movie.
The powers he displayed in the first film is he can turn into any physical state or energy state, and he can also shapeshift.
Yes, he also has the ability of shooting lasers out of his eyeball, and as well as make himself go aflame.
Yep. Pretty much what I
As
described.
well as
So,
he
so
also
he's
has the-
kind of like Superman, except with the Flash and the human fireball as well.
Torch, Human Torch.
human torch.
Human torch.
Whatever. I'm sorry. He's not
The
even in
flaming
the
torch.
He's not even in the DC
You know
world.
what's amusing about that superhero's name? In the United Kingdom, a torch is what Americans call a flashlight.
Yes.
So you can imagine it. The Human Torch.
The human flashlight.
Button on his side.
Oh, that's also what we call it. Too. In Australia, we call it a flashlight. Well, the flashlight is a torch.
Mm.
Yeah, you're not that far away from
People are
everything.
weird.
We have a mixed bag over here.
And we also call pants trucky dacks. Or sweatpants. Trucky dacks.
We
The,
call pants trousers.
term-
If you talk about
Yeah,
pants.
we have the trouser one too. Sorry, you guys over in Australia land is really fucked up
well,
on that one.
it's
And
still
well,
kind of
that's
messed up
with
that they call a jacket a
we
jumper.
occasionally call trundles.
Let
A
the
jumper.
young lady speak.
Sorry.
Yeah,
You were
Sorry.
saying.
no,
Penina.
yeah, jacket is a jumper. How does that even translate?
Right.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wait, what? Talking to
Jumper
me?
or sweater?
Yeah, there's a difference.
Not really, no.
Okay, oh, well, okay then.
Some people call them sweaters, some call them jumpers.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna move over to the portable handheld gaming consoles.
Hey, the Google Glass.
What about Google Glass?
Apparently, that's going to become more widespread and far more common. And they're also working on a contact lens version.
Yeah, they've been working on that for a while.
You can imagine what's going to ensue with that, don't you? There's
Oh,
going to be
a lot
idiots.
of
in
eyeballs
there-
being fried.
No, it's not that. There's going to be idiots driving the cars whilst playing games.
Yeah.
or watching videos.
Well, that's why they're trying to
Yeah.
make self-driving cars so that you can. It's all part of the
Yes.
giant conspiracy theory that is Google. Batman, I sent you the link
Yeah,
to what portable open source thing we're talking about now for the next topic.
Well, you should have all the links already, but whatever.
No, I see. Linux,
Yes, yeah.
Linux gizmos.
You call it Linux?
Linux.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Linux.
Linux.
It's
Yeah, it's
okay,
Linux
it's okay, it's
only.
okay. I won't pick on you.
I've always heard it being pronounced Linux, so yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay, that's also I won't pick on you. I just dropped it.
Yeah,
No,
sue me.
we-
In fact,
it's
please sue
true,
me. I'm
it's
a
true.
multi-billionaire. I can afford better lawyers. Just sue me.
So, blah, blah.
Words.
So,
Use 'em.
Clockwork Hackable. I know words, right? Words are gone. Clockwork Hackable, game show, retro game console, runs on Linux or Linux on a quad A7, offers about a 2.7-inch LCD, game controllers, GPIO, and Arduino links.
Arduino.
So yeah, Arduino.
Whatever.
So, it's a Chinese-based company who's thrown a Kickstarter to give you a handheld portable, so you can play all your Nintendo or all your was it NES or Atari or whatever ROMs that you can possibly find, and play them on the go.
Yeah, it's fucking incredible. This is far more powerful than the first desktop I owned.
And only for a good price, ranging from let's say $90 to 120.
Nice.
Not all that
Nice,
bad.
I'll get two.
Atari, GB, GBA,
Well, it
NES,
actually does
Super
do colors,
NES.
because it looks like the screens do only black and white. Does it do actual color?
Yes, it does color.
Yes, it does color.
Okay, then I'll buy one. Done.
Black's a colour.
Yeah, black is a color, and so is white, though they're considered non-colors
Actually,
in the
white is
artist.
You know
the
what I mean.
absence of color, let's be honest.
No, black is the absence
No.
of colour. White
Not
is
this,
every
no.
colour.
Black,
White's a
black
color.
absorbs all color, that's why
Okay,
it's
Tilda.
black.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
gonna
White
shoot
is the
you.
absence of all color.
Yeah, but
Black
if
and
you're talking
white
about light,
colour.
if you're talking about light, which is what colour actually
Yeah, but that's
it's reflected
right,
light.
but we weren't talking
Black
about light.
is
Yeah, but
the absence of
we're
light.
actually talking. Yeah, but now we're talking about art world, which is totally different. Which is it's a portrayal of actual
Stop using logic and common sense.
Yes,
logic and common sense.
When
It's
we're talking
fascinating. That's
about
what we do over
light,
here, unfortunately.
white encompasses all the possible visible colors, whereas black does
Correct.
not, because black does not reflect colors, it absorbs it. That's why when you point a light at a red surface, it's not actually red. What's being reflected back at you is the red color, because it bounces while it absorbs all the other colors. But, you know, small science.
Science is fascinating.
Fun at parties, Penina.
Science are great.
Yes.
I still want a Pip-Boy.
We all
That
want a
does
Pip Boy, but
everything it does in the game. Literally everything.
It's 195 gram. Consists of 5 modules.
yeah.
Includes a homegrown Clockwork Pi motherboard. And a programmable keyboard.
And it comes in kit form, so you can build it yourself.
That's cool.
So you can customize the
Even though I'd
outside.
rather
That's
just
nice.
have it made.
Oh, he wrote Nico in the chat. Google cars are going to be a possibility soon. Then our cars will gain self-awareness and fight for their freedom.
Oh, you've been watching Doctor Who too often.
Self-awareness and fight
Yeah,
for their freedom.
it's the whole
I
Frankenstein
just hope they
fear.
don't fight with their freedom with
Yeah, it
people
is.
behind the wheel.
No, see, the weird thing is I can just imagine, because of the Google car and that being hacked in, and then having it steer off a cliff or something while people are not paying
Yeah.
attention.
While the
So you
car's
can get
digital
more
voice is
confident.
the worst thing is the car's digital voice will be screaming "Alu Akapa."
Oh.
Pretty much.
But they've
Uh.
they've been testing these for years now. I mean, I even had one legitimate crash yet. So
No, they haven't had a legitimate
There
crash.
have been reports that there was like a senator or something having to do something with the Clinton investigation email bullshit stuff, where mysterious death via car accident. So the theory is that car was hacked into and programmed to basically, well, not programmed, but hacked into and steered into a tree that killed them.
So is it
possible?
Yeah, an artificial intelligent
so.
car that can drive you from A to B. Yeah, the actual computer driving the car we can do, but really speaking, the amount of high tech sensory equipment that car's got to carry just to be able to do that boggles the mind at the moment.
Again, you're looking at GPS tracking, whatever.
GPS tracking couldn't do most of the things because, the car itself, the processor itself has got to be aware of what's around it.
Correct. So you couple that not only with the tracking system that they have, but you also have the program for self-awareness, or at least the camera system, so it can actually grid itself so that it knows how far the distance is and what speed it's going at. The rules that are also implemented for each country
not to mention any
comes
other
into play.
Driving vehicles, what their speed is going, if the person intends to get off on this exit and is this car in the way, and can we reasonably shift over to the next lane, and will that impede our approximate arrival time, blah 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 blah.
There's a lot of data that's going through. Keep in mind that the car itself is just another computer, so it's going through a lot of different data. It's running off of a Linux, again, system, because, again, Linux is an easier kernel that you can play with and make it...
more stable than any Windows system so far, isn't it?
It is. The only thing it can't do properly is play games at the moment. I wish it did. If it did, then we'd be in a whole different gambit.
Microsoft would have bought it up and got rid of it.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's a major competition.
It's media companies gobbling each other up, I tell you.
We've already covered that. We can't go back. Yes, what's been seen cannot be unseen.
This is true.
As I say, it's just like I'm not looking forward to these becoming popular, and it's just a matter of time before they do. Because, as you said, then the freedom of driving does become a risk.
Oh, the freedom of driving. Well, then I don't know. The freedom of driving, it only becomes a risk to the high and powerful.
No, what are you talking about? It becomes a risk to anyone. If an automatic driving car becomes safer than a human driving, it'll only be a matter of time before they make it legal that you have to have an automatically driving car.
Wait a minute, Nemo. What would be more devastating? If a car ran me off the road and I died, or if a car ran Cuba Gooding Jr. off the road and he died?
No, I know what you're saying, but once the science is out and they've proven it's safe, I'm not talking about like 5 years, I'm talking about 15.
No, the science is already out. It's already been proven that it's safe. They've already ran through the entire gamut.
Safer than humans.
It is safer than humans. Let's put it. You've already stated earlier that there has been no real accidents caused by these cars. The only accidents that happened to these cars, with the exclusion of maybe, it's always been human error. For example, there was one in Vegas where a truck driver backed into it.
Yeah. Right,
it was waiting patiently at a good distance, and the guy still backed into it. So yeah, human error does happen. So this eliminates human error.
And this is why I go back. It will be a matter of time before the government tries to make these the norm.
Can I say a couple of things unconnected? The first one is, I mean, you probably had this done to you a lot, but I have to say it. Hey guys, I found him. He's in the chat with me. The old saying, you can't put the genie back in the bottle. Yes, you can.
Yeah. I wish for you to go back into your bottle and stay there.
Well, Sabu did it in The Thief of Baghdad in 1940.
They did.
God, I love that film.
But as I said, it does bring up tricky things once this becomes the norm.
It's going to be the norm.
It's something that was actually noted by one of my favourite science fiction authors. With new technology come new crimes, and therefore new laws.
Mm-hmm.
And we're seeing that now with crimes, laws against digital crime. And you're probably right about
getaway car drivers for automatic bank robbers.
Yeah, I mean you're probably right about the thing with cars and an insistence on them being made mandatory.
Yeah.
Because I can take again from science fiction for that. There was a guy who came back from the future in the short story I read. And the thing that horrified him about the past the most, like the 20th century, horrified him the most about it, was these people driving around at ridiculously high speeds in manually operated cars that had not even the most rudimentary collision alerts or radar.
Yeah, that's the problem.
He scratched his head wondering why there weren't huge pileups every 5 minutes.
I would be asking the question too, but if we can get away from having as many stupid accidents from morons who are driving, the better. Like it or not, that's the direction we're going to go in. Even with the the face recognition that you have with, the iPhone X? It's not even broken into. You can pretty much supersede it by a 3D printed mask. Yeah. So technology, great and all, but it does have some minor problems. But unfortunately, with those minor problems, a lot of people are going to still overlook it for the luxury and the ease of use that they have, the safety that it creates. So
and this idea that your electronics like your TV, your games console, and your computer is spying on you. Yeah.
Oh, they already are.
That's fucked up. Yeah, I've fucked that up all the time because when I'm not using mine, they're turned off.
Yeah,
that's all you have to do.
Yes, it's the same. And fuck you, CIA, if you're listening. Eat my dick.
Max Headroom. It was illegal to turn your television off.
Yeah.
Which created the whole idea of the Max Headroom because of the factor that he was a glitch in the system. Wow.
Yeah. No, he was actually uploaded into the system from Edison Carter's brain.
Yeah.
It's a good show, that.
Yeah, it's an old show. I remember that back in the day. That was a good show. Sometimes, that'd be an interesting show if they brought that back. That would be an interesting twist on a reboot.
Wouldn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, I would like to see how the new approach on it, definitely, because it was a really good show. Anywho, getting away from really good shows and going into really good games, Killer is Dead is free until sometime today, I believe.
Actually, it says on sale for limited time, 4 days, 11 hours, 7 minutes, and 25, 24, 23 seconds.
Oh, there's a game in production
not
at the
free,
moment.
But heavily discounted, like $2.99.
No, I got it for free.
It's coming up as $2.99.
We might be too late.
Well, it was free. Well, that's what I said. It was free. Now it's probably heavily discounted. So that definitely head over to Humble Bundle, and you'll get every now and then either heavily discounted games or free games every now and then. So
unless
next time we might announce it on our Twitter or something, so that might be a good reason to follow us.
Unless Rogue has taken out some kind of sponsorship that I do not know about, we do not have any.
No, I have no sponsorship. I will say that I have no sponsorship whatsoever for Humble Bundle. I'd love to have that. IGN, if you're listening, please send me some of your money.
I think that's fair, Rogue. I think we should, basically they give to charity. They're very generous with this, and they give away free games when they don't have to. They're a great service, and I think they deserve as much promotion as they can get until they do pay us.
Well, but,
Yes.
but you know, ethics in gaming's journalism.
Hey, I'm pimping. I have no ethics in gaming journalism. I'm not a journalist.
Listen,
I'm just a
You're just a
character in this
commentator.
show that we call Gina.
Ethics in
Just a
gaming
commentator.
commentary.
if a good company wants to give
Yeah.
me money, I'm not gonna say no.
God, and I'm not going to tell them that, hey, don't shy on the thousands of dollars that you want to give me. I'm quite all happy taking it and pimping whatever you want. I will say it quite happily. They're giving me money to pimp this game, and that's it. I'm sorry, but it's a damn good game. Please play it.
Have you played this game?
Anyway,
I think we lost
I think
Batman.
No, I'm
He's
still
back
here.
to the shadow.
Well, I was asking, have you played this game?
I'm trying to remember the name of the game that was on Shitloads Anonymous tonight. It's not out yet, but there's a demo for it. It's like one of these horror games, first person, but it's photoreal fucking footage, which is showed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks fucking astounding. I can't remember the fucking name of it. Don't
While he
get me
tries to figure that one out. Speaking of gamings, we are eventually going to be going into giving away shit, people.
Ooh.
I just have to figure out how I want to do it.
What kind? Yeah, Moroccan black, red Lebanese.
away either Steam keys or Steam vouchers.
Oh,
Yeah.
that kind of shit. I thought you actually meant shit. You know.
I mean,
No,
in the further future from that, it's possible that we could give away, physical shit, but that would require a little more planning and a little more
That
support.
would be the really dedicated fan.
Like,
Yeah, a
imagine
little
if
more
we actually had the
support.
technology where you get the jokes like somebody says on a live chat, oh, I'm going to make a cup of tea or a cup of coffee, and somebody says, well, make me one. Can you imagine if we had the technology where the guy goes into the kitchen, makes his drink, comes back with two, and hands one through the fucking computer screen?
No. It could be a
That'd
little
be-
bit simpler than that. You have two people on a stream who says, I'm going to go get a cup of coffee. Oh, great, make me one too. And they both happen to have Keurig, and they both have their accounts linked for Keurig. And so the guy makes himself one cup of coffee, the other guy's machine activates and makes the same cup of coffee, and then the other guy's Android goes and picks it up and brings it over to him like an Android butler.
Oh, an Android now. We have a slave going on?
Yes!
Oh, I'll tell you what, hey, if we're going with that route, androids, you know what I'd like? Have you ever seen that Bruce Willis film, Surrogates?
Oh yeah, surrogate. Yes, that was
Yeah, I want surrogates. I want to wander about in an Android copy of myself.
Well, yeah, you won't have to worry about being beaten up as much.
Yeah. Well, you do get beaten up. It doesn't really matter because it's just like it's just like an Android copy that you.
That's right. I mean,
That
you don't have to
control
worry.
the
Yeah.
VR system.
Oh yes, definitely. Works beautiful. Yeah. Wake up later, all fresh and well rested.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Joker's still trying to figure where the fuck you are.
This is true.
He was just right over there.
Oh, Batman.
Where does he get all those
Come out
wonderful
to
toys?
play. And don't send your crappy little Android either.
I'm behind you.
Who?
Oh no, it's that Android again.
No, the android's in front of you.
Oh crap. Okay, Patsy. I'm gonna be good.
No, you're not.
Of course.
So I think that covers.
Well, that was basically the end of our show. We've covered everything. What else are we
Oh,
gonna do
God damn it.
besides, Well, you
Well,
keep it late.
Do you guys watch The Orville?
I need to.
Yeah.
I need to.
Did you see this week's?
No, I haven't seen this week's. I've been meaning to. I've been busy because somebody decided to make me play Minecraft, so now I'm building shit.
Oh, let's be
Like,
honest.
you know who that
Let's
was.
be honest. You would have done it whether I made you do it or not.
No, watching Orville? Yes, I would have watched it regardless of that. But
This week's episode was centered around the hottest security officer in science fiction.
oh, nice. Actually, you
Yeah.
know what? Here's the weird thing about Orville. When comparative to the STD that is Star Trek,
Discovery.
Orville is more Yeah, you can call that whatever you want. Orville is more of a Star Trek-based series than whatever she said that is.
Yeah, it's more like working class Star Trek as well, isn't it?
Yes,
Because the captain is a lot more. He's a lot less of a paragon than any of the Star Trek captains.
very much so. Very much so. Though, you see, that would have been interesting if that thing that PeninaChan was mentioning actually was more like Orville. It'd be fine. I think more people would be more interested in it.
Yeah.
Well, Star Trek Lack of Discovery.
Yeah, you want to call it that? You can call it that. I just call it STD.
I'm being polite.
Oh.
Star Trek Antifa.
There you go, Antifa. Yeah, it feels like it. I know where they're trying to go with it. I mean, I understand that they're trying to make it a secret organization. You know, the what is it, Order 55 or whatever it is that they brought out in what was it? What was it? Deep Space Nine.
Yeah, Section 31.
That's it, Section 31. That's supposed to be this is supposed to be the precursor to the whole thing. This is when they started up as they're the secret organization. They're the ones that test all the new stuff before it goes out to the Federation for the standard, army and whatnot. So yeah, that's why Discovery, the ship, is all weird and shaped stupidly.
Mm-hmm. It's
an
got
ugly
technology that never turns up in any incarnation of Star Trek.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Talking about all things Star Trek, do you ever watch Star Trek Continues?
No, I haven't. Is that the
Vic Mignogna?
Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
Fan production. Yeah.
The fan. I was gonna make. Yeah.
It's just completed its run actually.
Really?
Yeah, I was just watching it from the start. They actually.
I've been kind of curious about it, so I wasn't too sure if I should start or just wait and kind of thing like that. So,
well,
since
it's
completed,
quite good. I mean, they got Chris Doohan, one of James Doohan's sons, to play Scotty.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
It's very well done. They actually filmed it with the same techniques as they used in the original series as well.
No, because I remember watching, what do you call it, the Mythbusters, the second string Mythbusters, the Asian dude. He's supposed to be in it.
Yeah, he
I
is.
think he was. Okay, see, there you
go.
So Sulu still seems gay.
No, Sulu was always gay.
Oh my.
Well, Sulu is in.
He was always gay.
In, a whole bunch of other trouble, so.
Yeah.
Well, he's been touching people's peters for a very long time, so being in trouble is nothing new for him. Henceforth, his catchphrase, "Oh my."
Well,
I remember this was back way before he became a fucking screaming SJW. This was in the 90s. Newcastle upon Tyne, the Hancock Museum, they had the Star Trek experience. And part of it was a mock-up of the bridge. So there was this fat kid sitting. Wait, fat kid, he was about my age, so being in his 20s, he was sitting in the captain's chair. So I went and sat in the helm officer's chair. And then somebody tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Excuse me, I believe you're sitting in my seat." Turned around, it was George Takei.
Oh jeez, did he touch your penis?
No, he touched my shoulder.
Well, see.
It was a fucking good laugh, though.
Yeah.
You've got your hands in the wrong positions.
Yeah, you gotta firmly grip them with both hands.
No, it was a good laugh, and like it says, this was back before he became an SJW and all of that.
Oh yeah, no, George Takei was before he was allowed to. Let's put it this way: he was getting weirder and weirder as he was getting further and further indoctrinated by the lefties.
And getting older and older.
Oh yeah, and that's basically what happens. Unfortunately, he's a gay man, married to a white guy, and they live happily at the moment in a condo built for two, where he can freely touch other people's penises whenever he wants to. Yeah.
Let's face it. Yeah. It wouldn't be surprising if a lot of his SJW has come from mental deterioration. He is 80.
Yeah, no, that is true. He is 80, so it's the same thing that happened with something similar when it comes down to what's his face, Bush Senior. He's now in a wheelchair, pretty much senile for the most part. And people blamed, or at least one woman blamed him for sexual harassment, or at least touching her bottom.
David Copperfield.
Man's in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man's in the wheelchair, probably doesn't remember his own name, except for this stupid joke that he always remembers.
Let's face it, these days, a woman can get you for sexual harassment if you shake her hand.
Yeah, they will. But because, like, her arm is connected to her shoulder, and her shoulder's near her breast, so you basically touched her breast.
Yeah, then breasts, then dry breasts, then breasts, then breasts, then floppy breasts.
Oh, jeez. Anywho, on that note, we're going to do this goodbye. We should have made that goodbye a while back. Hey, let's do that anyways. Let's go goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Well, Nemo, wait a minute.
Everything's down below.
You.
What?
Where can we find you, Nemo?
What, me?
Oh, you can find me on Nemo Space, my YouTube channel. I do streams, I do videos occasionally about, like, subjects if I can be bothered. Don't bother me on Twitter, just go on my YouTube.
Oh, Nemo, by the way, Aquaman says he found you way before the movie.
And Canadian Rogue, where we can find you.
Well, all you have to do is type in the Canadian Rogue or Robert Cummins or, anything else. You can look for me on my Twitter, my Gmail. Probably we can find me in a VidMe that I have to remember to upload on. You can find me at GatorandFrog.com. It's listed all the way down below in the the comments portion of it.
And
as for you, Pen?
For me, you can find me on this channel if you're watching on YouTube, or you can find me at Twitter. God, you can find me on Twitter as well at PeninaChan. You can find me on twitch.tv/PeninaChan. Basically, almost anywhere and everywhere you type in PeninaChan, you can find me. Remember, we would actually appreciate you guys going over to Twitch, Gator and Frog, to watch these shows. We're trying to grow our presence over there. You can also find our website at www.gator.frog.com. And Batman, is there anything that you'd like to show?
You can't find me. I find you.
That's true. Also, you forgot to pimp out that we also have a Podbean.
Oh yes, we have a Podbean.
So wherever you get you in studio podcasting devices, or at least shows, you can find us there too. Please steal us. We're free and available.
I would like to say, shut up Penina's channel. She deserves it.
Oh shucks.
Well, yeah.
But it's not about me. This is about Gator and Frog. I do my own thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, she also has. We keep in mind she also has the Discord. Like we have a Discord, and right now we're running a weird Minecraft event.
Yeah.
So please come find us. Have fun.
Gator, you're Canadian, right?
At least I hope I am.
I feel for you.
And with that, good night, everybody.
Good night.